So I said I had this issue with the car because I was going to have to make it last till the end of the school year, and that permit was set to expire on September 6th. So I kind of started working on this in August. I was like, dude, this is going to be complicated. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know what I have to do. And like I told you a couple of videos back, when I did that bribe at the border coming back into the country, they said, no, you can't do any more extensions. But I said, well, I'll take my chance. I'll go to Campana. They weren't the guys I talked to at the border, and I'll see if they'll give me an extension. So I go to Campana, and they said, no, we can't help you, but there's an office in Zarate, and they might be able to help you. So I go to Zarate, which I didn't even know there was an office until this time, and they're like, no. Just same thing as Campana told me the previous time, go to the border and come back. And I was like, dude, I can't go to the border. I didn't tell them this, but I was like, I can't go to the border and come back because the border that I always go to, they said, you can never do this again. And that was the Brad border. I was like, okay, I guess I'll go to the border north of that. And like at this time, I was also sort of thinking, okay, well, the other thing is Uruguay is our neighbor. That's where I crossed out of and crossed back to. And Uruguay has an interesting policy for vehicles. Basically, for all the people who travel all over the globe with these big, giant SUV type vehicles, for South America, Uruguay is their storage space. So a lot of them, what they'll do is they'll ship a vehicle over to South America from Europe, drive around, and then when the South American winter comes, they'll put their vehicle in Uruguay, fly home to Europe, spend the European summer there, and then come back again. So Uruguay has this strange clause. It's like the loosest of all the countries on this. You can leave your vehicle in Uruguay for up to 12 months, even if you're not in the country, which is like totally unique in South America. So going to the border here, after Zarate told me no and Campana told me no, I was like, okay, well maybe I'm going to end up having to put it into Uruguay. But Uruguay had a complicated situation the previous year, where because it was never really black and white with their rules with this, it's a gray area. The government actually went to a couple of these storage facilities and seized all the vehicles. Like we're talking over $1 million in vehicles they had seized. And the people in Europe were like, do we have to come to Uruguay for a trial? Can we get our cars back? How's this going to work? And it went on for like 6 or 7 months, and finally the government ruled, no, it's legal. You can do this. You can store your cars here. But I also knew that the storage facilities, because it's not just like any parking spot, it's like these sort of, either like a hotel in the country with like a lot of space, they'll let you put it there. I knew that these guys were still a bit wary about this whole situation, even though it was officially illegal. So when I went to cross into Uruguay, I chose a further north border in Cologne, not the one in Fray Bentos, because I didn't want to deal with the same people that had said you could never do this again. So I was like, I'll go further north. And if they say I can't come back in the country, then I'll store it in Uruguay and I'll come back on the ferry, which will be really complicated, but I'll figure out how to do this. So I did it on a weekend. So I went on September 1st, I went up there, and I got to the border. And like, there were way more cars. It was way slower to get through, and I finally got through. Except for these guys at this border, north of the one that I typically use, were like so much more severe. They're like going through my car, and they asked to see my insurance. Now, in South America, they never asked me what insurance. When I first crossed into, well, no, in South America, yes, you have to buy insurance in each country, but in Argentina, never. When I first came into Argentina in 2015, I said, hey, do I need insurance? And they said, no, you're cool. I was like, I'm cool. And I guess they looked at my Canadian registration and they thought it was insurance because it's through ICBC. And they were like, you're cool. So I just never had insurance in Argentina. And always when I crossed over the borders and things like that, it was like they just assumed that my registration was my insurance. So these guys, though, they were like more up on their stuff. And they're like, no, this is not insurance. You do not have insurance for Argentina or Uruguay. So we're not going to let you into Uruguay with your car. We'll put a stamp on your passport. You have to remember I was pretending to be a tourist at this point, because that was the deal with the car. I had to pretend to be a tourist even though I had temporary residence. Put a stamp in your passport, so that's renewed. But the vehicle, you have to get this figured out before September 6th. And that was like September 1st, 2nd, because you leave on the 1st and you come back after midnight on the 2nd. That's the plan. So now it's like September 2nd. My permit's going to expire the 6th. And Monday is going to be like the 3rd. So there's like 3 days to figure this out. And so they say, you go back to Argentina, like go to the nearest town, buy insurance for your car, and we'll let it go into Uruguay. And the car can't come back to Argentina, but we'll let it go into Uruguay. You can park it there. You can come back on the ferry. I was like, okay. But I knew that, like, from the expat forms for these vehicles, the overlanding forms, that, like, you cannot buy insurance in Argentina for a vehicle that doesn't have Argentinian plates. Like, you can't. If you're a Mercosur country, like a neighboring country, maybe, but not for a car that's, like, from North America, you can't. There's only, like, 2 options, and they're online. You have to contact these people. So I drove all the way back to to Bragado actually. I left the car in Bragado, so I took it all the way back to Bragado, and then took the buses back into Buenos Aires, and I started contacting the insurance companies. And these two guys were both like, okay, so this was September 3rd now, and my expiry was September 6th, and I was like, how fast can you get this done? They're like, minimum of 2 weeks. I was like, I'm screwed. Like, there's no way I can do this. So I go back out to Zárate and I tell them my story. Like, I went to the border, they wouldn't let me in because of insurance. I called the insurance guys, the only ones who give me insurance here for a car from Canada. They say minimum of 2 weeks, and my permit expires in 3 days. Like, what are we going to do? And they're like, And then I think they were like not even going to help me. But then like what happened was, I told them my car was in Bragado. And like, okay, well, if you bring your car here to Zárate, tomorrow we'll take care of it, or we'll try to take care of it. And that would have been a real pain in the ass for me because I still had to teach during the week. So I said to something to them, I said, like, well, there was a guy before, this Juan guy from the previous video about the car wars. There's a guy who works for the customs near Bragado, and he went to the house last time to verify that my car exists. They're like, who is this guy? So I named him, Juan, and they're like, whoa, that guy just got a promotion. He's like a boss now. And they're like, I'm going to call him up. They called him up, and Juan, who actually had contacted before even I went to Campana or anything, and said, hey, dude, can you help me? He was like, no, go to talk to the guys in Campana. Juan knew about my situation, and so they called Juan, and he was like, I'll take care of it. And I was like, oh my god. And they said, yeah, Juan will take care of it. You just got to talk to him. So now it's like September 4th, expiry September 6th, and I'm like, Juan, man, are you cool with this? He's like, I got it. And sure enough, on September 5th, the day before the expiry, he sends me the updated permit for an extension of 3 months. I'm like, thank God. So I didn't have to take it out of the country or anything like that. I can stay in Argentina. But the thing is, 3 months from the date, he put 3 months from the date that I had attempted to go into Uruguay and got rejected. So it was December 1st was like when I needed to get the car out of the country. And like my teaching officially could have ended before December 1st, and I could rush out of the country if I wanted to. But we did these extra courses into the middle of December, and I really didn't want to rush out. So I knew I'd have to put my car in Uruguay for the month of December before I left to come on the crazy trip back to Canada through Brazil and all that. But it was like a major victory. I was like, thank you, Juan, like my guardian angel of the universe. Like it was unbelievable. And I was so like stressed out that whole time, and like for him to deliver, I was just like, thank you. That was like the car victory. Even though, yeah, I have to put it in Uruguay for my last month in Buenos Aires or in Argentina. Not a big deal, but like, at least I knew what was going on going into it this time instead of like going to the border, I don't know what's going to happen, I don't know what's going to happen, get rejected, like can't get insurance, like, but yeah, so that's the Car Wars story.